Good evening, District E, and welcome to the By the People debate series presented by the Urban League of Louisiana, our coalition of 20 community partners. We're honored to be hosting tonight's debate at Franklin Avenue Baptist Church. Please join me in welcoming FABC's Senior Associate Pastor, Chip Luter.
That's very kind. Thank y'all for clapping. That's really nice of you. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much. We are honored to host you here at Franklin Avenue Baptist Church tonight for this forum. Pastor would have loved to have been here. Senior Pastor Fred Luter Jr. would have loved to have been here. He's preaching out of town tonight, but he wanted me to make sure to send his regards and how proud he is that we can host this tonight. You guys are always welcome through the doors of FABC, of course, what our Sunday services and all activities during the week. But at the end of the day, in addition to what we do as a ministry, we love to be a ministry to this community, and this is one of the things happening tonight. So just a little housekeeping. If you are looking for restrooms at any point, no matter what exit you go out, if you go out of this exit on my left, your right, you go turn left when you get out the door, restrooms there. You go to this exit, turn right, there's restrooms there. And if you need anything at all, our staff is here to serve you as best we can. Thank you for being a part of tonight and engaging in this process, and we look forward to see what the Lord's going to do with the election later this year. Amen? Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Urban League of Louisiana's President and CEO, Judy Reese-Morris.
Good evening, everyone. It is my privilege to welcome you to the 5th debate in our By the People debate series. Each stop along this journey has given us the opportunity to hear directly from candidates who are seeking to lead our city, and to reflect together on the kind of leadership, vision, and accountability New Orleans both needs and deserves. Tonight, that work continues. And how fitting it is that we gather here at Franklin Avenue Baptist Church, one of the great spiritual anchors of our city. This church has long been committed to bringing about a spiritual change in the hearts of all people. In that same spirit, our coalition has committed itself to bringing about a civic and political transformation which ensures that every New Orleanian recognizes the power of their vote, their voice, and their role in shaping the future of this great city. The partnership between institutions like the church and organizations like the Urban League of Louisiana, alongside so many civically engaged partners, is critical to the moment that we are in. Faith institutions have always played a vital role in advancing justice, dignity, and equality by fueling movements for social change. And in this series, we are building on that tradition by working together to make sure that the leaders we elect are not only capable in their governance, but guided by conscience, by compassion, and by a commitment to solving the problems that affect people's everyday lives. At the Urban League of Louisiana, we believe that no matter where you live, no matter your background, you deserve a quality of life rooted in dignity, opportunity, and respect. This debate series has been about lifting up those truths, elevating the issues that matter most across every neighborhood. Tonight, as we sit in this sacred space, I want to challenge all of us to reflect not only on what New Orleans is, but on what it can be. Let us demand leaders who will listen and lead with purpose, but also commit ourselves to doing the work alongside them to build the city our people deserve. Thank you for joining us tonight. Thank you to Franklin Avenue Baptist Church for opening its doors. And thank you to our partners, our many partners, who stand shoulder to shoulder in this work. Tonight, we affirm that the future of New Orleans will be brighter, stronger, and more just when it is shaped by the people and for the people. I now have the pleasure of introducing our debate co-chairs, Dr. Billy Castle, of the New Orleans Pan-Hellenic Council, and Dr. Brenda Jackson of the New Orleans chapter of the NAACP. Please give them a warm welcome as they come to the stage.
Good evening, and thank you. I now have the pleasure of introducing our first moderator, Mr. Lamar Gardier. Mr. Gardier is the Executive Director of the Data Center. In this role, Mr. Gardier is responsible for guiding the Data Center's mission of democratizing actionable data, ensuring quality standards, and the continued impact of the organization. He leads the Data Center's ongoing efforts to transform local culture to one that embraces data as an intrinsic component of sound decision-making and serves as its chief advocate for technology designed to enable greater data sharing and advanced statistical methods in New Orleans. Prior to joining the Data Center, Mr. Gardier spent 6 years with the City of New Orleans Office of Information Technology and Innovation, most recently as the Chief Information Officer. As CIO, he was responsible for delivering stable, value-added IT services to the City of New Orleans employees and constituents. Mr. Gardier is nationally recognized for his work implementing and developing the open data policy for the City of New Orleans and the many findings published under his leadership of the Data Center. Mr. Gardier is serving as a moderator tonight in his personal capacity. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Lamar Gardier to the stage.
Good evening, everyone. I am pleased to introduce our second moderator, Courtney B. Scruggs. Ms. Scruggs is a legal executive, civic leader, and community advocate who has devoted her career to strengthening organizations and improving the lives of others. She currently serves as General Counsel, Diagnostics and Genomics for LGC Limited, a global life science company where she advises executives on risk management, compliance, and business strategy across international operations. She is also the founder of CS Solutions and Strategies, a boutique consulting practice supporting minority entrepreneurs and nonprofit organizations and strategic wellness initiatives. A new nonprofit building partnership and programs to strengthen wellness outcomes in New Orleans communities. Courtney was recently appointed to the Board of Directors of the Sewage and Water Board of New Orleans, bringing her professional and personal expertise to strengthening the city's critical infrastructure. She also serves nationally as Vice Chair of the Women Lawyers Division of the National Bar Association and chairs its advocacy committee, coordinating nationwide advocacy initiatives. Courtney's contributions have been recognized with numerous honors, including being named a 2025 Woman of Impact by the American Heart Association of Greater New Orleans. She is also a member of the 2026 cohort of the New Orleans Regional Leadership Institute, NOLA. At home, she is a proud member of the Krewe of Themis, a social justice-focused Mardi Gras cruise, and a partner in producing this debate series. Ms. Scruggs is serving as moderator tonight in her personal capacity. Please join me in welcoming Courtney Scruggs to the stage.
One second, everyone.
All right. Thank you to our co-chairs and thank you to our hosts and our partners. Please join me in welcoming tonight's candidates seeking to become the next City Council member of District E.
Thank you, candidates, for being here tonight. Before we begin, here are the rules of the debate. Each candidate will have 45 seconds to respond to questions, 20 seconds for rebuttals, and 10 seconds for clarifications at the moderator's discretion. We ask the candidates keep their remarks respectful, focused on policy and vision, and refrain from personal attacks. The audience plays a critical role tonight, but for us to stay on time and keep the debate fair, there will be no applause, cheering, or verbal reactions during the debate. You may applaud during the opening and closing statements and after the debate concludes. Time limits will be strictly enforced to ensure fairness for all candidates by moderators and timekeepers. With that, let's begin tonight's debate.
We'll begin with opening statements. Each candidate will have 1 minute to introduce themselves and share their vision for District E. We will go in ascending alphabetical order. Mr. Bell, we'll start with you.
Good afternoon. It's a pleasure to be here, and it's a pleasure to be in my district. I've been in here 50 years in the same house in the lower 9. Right now, I'm with the NAACP Executive Committee. I'm also a member of the ACLU, past commander for the American Legion. This got nominated to be the vice president for NAACP for St. Bernard, New Orleans, and Jefferson Parish. I come to you as a person not strange to my community. I come to you as a member, as a candidate that we've been left behind. It's time that District E move forward, and we need to find where the money at. I will search the money down. I want people to be afraid. I will find the money that should have been given to us in the East, in the lower 9, that we've been neglected since Katrina. I'm number 47 on the ballot. I appreciate your vote.
Thank you, Mr. Bell. Mr. Hughes?
Well, Mr. Gardier and Ms. Scruggs, let me first thank you both for co-moderating this evening. Let me thank the Urban League of Louisiana and the 20 coalition partners for hosting this very important debate. And let me thank my pastor, Fred Luter Jr., Dr. Elizabeth Luter, and the Franklin Avenue Baptist Church family for providing this beautiful venue. I'm Jason Hughes. I am a lifelong resident of District E. I was born here, raised here, educated here, and I'm District E proud. For the past 6 years, I've had the honor of serving you in Baton Rouge, a proud lifelong Democrat, but serving in a supermajority Republican legislature. That has never inhibited my ability to get things done and deliver results. Currently, I serve as the vice chair of the powerful Appropriations Committee, only the second black person to hold that role since 1812. In that capacity, I have appropriated millions of dollars to places like New Orleans East Hospital, Joe Brown Park, STEM NOLA, and other important entities. I look forward to answering the questions, and thank you for joining us this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Hughes. Mr. Jones?
Good evening. My name is Nathaniel Jones. I'm a local sub-teacher. I also work in New Orleans East at McDonald's and love the residents who come to support our business. I have a vision for New Orleans East and our students because I believe the world is shifting and we have to get our kids ready to take the mantle for New Orleans East. Hopefully, New Orleans East residents won't be able to be pushed out of District E, but if we prepare our students locally, then we can help them, give them the tools to have staying power in New Orleans East. And I feel that education for our students is very important. They may not be as adept to us like we used to be, but if we be patient with them, then the next 20 years will look bright for our children in New Orleans East.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. Mr. Morgan, you have 1 minute.
My name is Willie Morgan, and I'm a candidate for New Orleans City Council District E. I am a proud resident of District E. Raised in the lower 9th Ward, I have been shaped by its struggles and inspired by its resilience. I got in this race for one reason, because on my daily commute from the lower 9th Ward to New Orleans East, the neglect is evident. And I do personally feel that it's time for a change. It's time that someone gets in office and that fights for everyone in District E. Not parts of it, but all of it, and that it move us forward as a community. I know what District E can be. I lived it as a child, and I'm ready to bring that same future here for District E for all of our youth. So I humbly ask for your support on October 11th. I'm number 54 on the ballot. My name is Willie Morgan.
Thank you, Mr. Morgan. Ms. Nguyen, please begin your opening statement.
Good evening. My name is Cindy Nguyen, and I'm honored to stand before you as a candidate for the City Council District E. I'm running again because we have unfinished business. In a district, so much space and opportunity, and one that is vital part of our great city. You deserve a hardworking leader who is transparent, dedicated, and believes in the power of the community. You may ask, what did I do when I was in office? I revitalized the Caveman Hotel, $17 million redevelopment project. The Lake Forest Senior Manor, $20 million redevelopment project. I brought the taste of Mardi Gras back and created the Jingle on the Boulevard Parade for our family. McDonald 19 School in the Lower 9, a site for desegregation. All of these projects were done in a short time despite facing the cyber attack at City Hall, COVID-19, and Hurricane Ida. Bring me back so we can finish our work. Thank you so much. My ballot number is 55.
Thank you, Ms. Nguyen. Mr. Richard, your time starts now. Please, no applause.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you. Special shout out to Pastor Luda, the members of this beautiful church, as well as the Urban League, to our moderators, and all the people that are gathered watching at home, and the workers that are here that make this a beautiful place. My name is Gavin Richard. I am a child of New Orleans East and a grandchild of the lower 9th Ward, and I want to represent District D. And I say grandchild because my grandparents, especially my mother, grew up in the lower 9th Ward, and I grew up in this area in New Orleans East, and I remember what it was like and how special it was. And I find that it is unacceptable that in an area that is the largest tax base of the city of New Orleans, we do not get our share of the money, as well as the resources. The fact that we have to go and shop in other districts just to buy clothes or food is unacceptable. So I'm here to make a difference. This is a movement for new voice, a new generation, and new blood, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Richard. Mr. Roberts, please conclude the opening statement segment.
Good evening. My name is Jonathan Roberts. Jonathan Anthony Roberts. Went through a name change. I'm a proud resident of New Orleans East. I'm a son of the community. I'm a Marine of 21 years, recently retired. I spent some time at Tuskegee University. I now have a degree in business administration and economics. Currently working on my master's in emergency environmental management and homeland security. I believe in a District E where we come together as a community and we make it accessible for all of our members to thrive. We've been stuck in an area of survival for the past 20 years. And I know when we come together as a community, we can build, we can grow, and that comes with holding City Hall accountable and holding ourselves accountable. Thank you. My name is Jonathan Anthony Roberts, number 57 on the ballot.
Thank you, candidates. We now move into our coalition question segment. The By the People Coalition, a group of 20 partner organizations, has carefully crafted these questions based on the priorities and concerns of residents across New Orleans. Each candidate will have 45 seconds to respond, with opportunities for rebuttals and clarifications as time allows.
In addition to the coalition's questions, candidates will also be asked rapid-fire questions in between topic areas. When asked a rapid-fire question, candidates are asked to answer yes or no. Please, no elaborations. This is about giving voters quick, clear positions.
First question. The council plays a central role in shaping the city budget. What's one area where you would cut spending and one area where you would increase it significantly? Mr. Jones?
Well, I feel that the entire budget is very important. One budget that I would not cut is library services and services for kids. But what I would cut is unnecessary spending, maybe areas where we're not getting a lot of production in the city. It would have to be a careful analysis of the entire budget, and even in these days where there's a budget crunch. But I would definitely keep the library services for kids. I would keep NORD, but I would probably cut those at the bottom of the totem pole that are not giving us results in District E.
Mr. Richard?
Well, to put it bluntly, I think we need to, if I were in City Hall, I think we need to spend more money, especially here in New Orleans East, on fixing our roads. I believe the budget has to be done for that. It's hard when you're driving down the street, especially on Morrison Road, and it feels like you're in a game of Mario Kart. I certainly think that that would be something that needs to be looked at. I know we've had plans before on that. Also, as far as decreasing anything, it would probably have to be something I would have to take a look at that might be unnecessary at that point, but that would be my primary focus.
Mr. Roberts?
Mr. Gardir, thank you for the question. I would cut money from wasteful spending. And what I mean by wasteful spending is I would not put money towards a street repair to turn around and have the street tore up so we can fix the pipes on that same street months later. So wasteful spending is the area where I would cut funding. The area where I would increase funding would definitely be youth development. We need more in-school programs and after-school programs for our kids. So youth development would be the area where I increase the budget.
Ms. Nguyen?
So what I would not cut is your quality of life services. While I was in office, we actually, with the support of the administration, we were able to remove 139 blighted properties, 1,500 property code enforcement hearing, 242 abandoned vehicle. So those services are really critical to District E. I want to add in money to support our economic development. District E need economic development. In order for us to incentivize people to come in, we need to have those resources to bring people to our district and provide that support. Thank you.
Mr. Hughes?
Thank you very much for that question. Our $1.8 billion city budget should reflect our priorities. And ladies and gentlemen, $1.8 billion, I want you to ask yourself, has District E gotten its fair share of the pie? There are many places that I would look to invest, but the first place that I would look to cut is for the city of New Orleans to stop investing in building phase 3 of the jail at Orleans Parish Prison. One of the places that I will absolutely invest specifically for District E is in the capital budget. District E doesn't have a crime problem, it doesn't have a people problem, it has an image problem. And one of the first things that we need to do is tackle commercial blight plaguing our community. That building on Plaza Drive, it'll be gone under my watch.
No applause, please. Mr. Bell?
First day in office, I would pass Amendment City Bill 102, that no district left behind. We've been far left behind. We need to concentrate on bringing schools back. We need to concentrate on getting Parkway and Commission to cut these drafts in the parking lot. Get away from the contracts, because the contracts, when you get contracts to cut the grass, even though they sign a whole homeless agreement, but we need to put the workers back cutting the grass. Also, the city have a budget where that they cut certain grass, but look like New Orleans East and the Lower Ninth Ward be left out. We need to do away with that and give it to the citizens who have lawnmowers and boax, and give them a cypress pay to cut the grass. That's what I would do my first day.
Mr. Morgan?
Thank you for that question. When in office, I will also have to echo that I would terminate the funding that's going toward the jail. I'm not sure if they know what to do with the money they already have, so why give them more? And definitely invest that money back into our community in economic development and youth development. We have too many blighted properties in District E and not enough resources for our kids. Anyone with a child know that you have to travel outside of our parish, outside of our community to do anything that's family friendly, and we have to change that, and that's where the savings will go.
Let's move on to the next question. The City Council acts as a regulator for utility providers like Entergy and Delta Utilities. What specific action would you take to protect residents from rising utility rates or unreliable services? Mr. Hughes, let's start with you.
Thank you very much. The city of New Orleans is unique in the sense that we are one of two cities that regulates their own utilities. The District of Columbia is the other. The first and foremost thing that we have to do is use our oversight power as a regulating body and take that very seriously. Number two, we have to ensure that we are being very transparent with our residents. Number three, we have to ensure that we are not solely relying on ratepayers to harden the grid, but we must ensure that the city of New Orleans and the state and the federal government are putting some skin in the game. The next thing I want to do is leverage the Housing Trust Fund to help our residents weatherize their homes, which are contributing to rising utility bills in our community.
Thank you, Mr. Hughes. Mr. Morgan?
Thank you. I believe the answer is simple. The people in office have to be held accountable to the people who put them in office. Unfortunately, you cannot regulate a company that has financed you and put you in office. So until we get that under control, until energy stop lining the pockets of the people that we put in place, that will continue to happen with all the rules, all the supervision they have the power now, if they wanted to control our rate hikes and keep energy from passing all of their responsibilities on to us. Because if you don't know, last year, energy had record profit margins, but yet our energy bills continue to skyrocket.
Thank you, Mr. Morgan. Ms. Nguyen.
So just on Willie's comment, I do not accept any contribution for Entergy. I just want to put that on the record. While I was in office, I worked closely with our community to come up with solution and strategy on how to make sure that particularly our senior citizens were able to stay in their home. We partner with our Office of Community Development, where there was opportunity to help reduce the cost of utility for our senior. And I'm committed to make sure that we continue to do that to support our vulnerable population, particularly our senior citizen during this heated time that we're facing right now. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Nguyen. Mr. Richard?
Yes, thank you for the question. To put it simply, we have to have transparency. We have to have transparency with our people. So one of the things that I would do is set up a subcommittee, especially made up of some citizens who would overlook what was going on directly with energy. The other thing we have to do is probably have an audit, very simple, an audit looking at our books and seeing where our money is going. It is unacceptable that we're having these high rates with energy, these high energy bills, and people are barely able to afford food. They're barely able to afford water with the way that these bills are skyrocketing. And it's not just energy, it's other utility companies that we have as well that I just won't name at this point. We'll get to them later. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Jones?
Well, when I ran for mayor 4 years ago, during Ida, I was displeased that Entergy was charging people when their lights were off. So my campaign promises was to get a second power company in New Orleans. It will create jobs, it will regulate prices, but it seems like Entergy has the monopoly, so we will have to talk to the CEO of Entergy and tell them like it is. You know, our people are suffering, it's 2025, we're spending too much on tariffs and taxes, taking care of our kids, so if you don't straighten up and fly right, we'll do like Slidell and get two companies.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. And finally, Mr. Roberts.
Ms. Grubbs, thank you for the question. I would start off with, on day one, requesting all previous audits conducted on energy, establishing an oversight committee to look into those audits and see where we can improve upon. I would exercise oversight authority and also look into expanding on microgrids so that when power is going out, we have backup energy ready to keep families cool, like Ms. Wynn said, and protecting our elders and our young folks. Too many times we have power surges in our community where powers will flash off and our residents are rebuilding or putting money towards repairing an HVAC system because the power went out and it blew an HVAC system or it blew a television. That's unsat. I will fix that on day one by exercising oversight authority.
Next question. How would you hold developers and city agencies accountable for delays and empty promises, especially when it comes to rebuilding the lower ninth and investing in eastern New Orleans? Mr. Richard.
Okay.
That was Mr. Bell.
My apologies, Mr. Bell, please. I'll read the question for you.
That's okay.
Okay.
What happened, the probably don't want to hear this. Section 2-784. It reads, write this number down, section 2, this is the city. Section 2-784, prohibit campaign contribution and finance. Because no council member or candidate seeking the office of council member shall accept otherwise receive a campaign contribution of any other finance from energy, gas, cable, telecommunications, or any source that you're going to regulate that money. If you accept campaign money from one of these people, when they come to want that rate hike, you can't say no. This is in the charter, section 2/784. Read it, and you'll see you shouldn't be accepting that campaign money.
Thank you, Mr. Bell.
I'll read the question again. Thank you for that correction, Mr. Bell. Again, the question, how would you hold developers and city agencies accountable for delays and empty promises, especially when it comes to rebuilding the lower Ninth Ward and investing in eastern New Orleans? Mr. Richard.
All right, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, in 2012, this was actually 10 years, or over 13 years ago, it's hard to believe, we actually did an audit and saw that the New Orleans East and Lower Ninth Ward area had over $270 million in sales tax and real estate tax alone. And yet, in this area, we weren't able to get any development whatsoever, and we still haven't. So how I would do this and hold our feet to the fire, our city and our elected officials to fire, especially with blighted property, we have to start enforcing the nuisance codes that we have here. We also, and part of my job, especially as an attorney, what I would do is advocate. We need grocery stores in the lower Ninth Ward. We need businesses here in New Orleans East. You advocate as an attorney, and I would advocate as a council member for this area.
Thank you. Ms. Wynn? Yes, ma'am. How would you hold developers and city agencies accountable for delays and empty promises, especially when it comes to rebuilding the lower Ninth Ward and investing in eastern New Orleans?
So accountability has always been part of my platform and my work. And so I recognized in 2018 when I became the council member that we had a lot of work to do. And that in order to get economic development into District E, we had to clean up. We had addressed many of the commercial blighted property along the I-10 to entice investment into our community, not just the east, but also in the low 9. In addition to that, those projects that I mentioned earlier, the TEP Center, the Caveman Hotel, and the Lake Forest Senior Manor slated for 200 units for our senior citizens, we're able to capitalize on benefits from the city through OCD money, as well as through the historic district landmark. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Wynn. Mr. Jones.
Well, I would give them weekly audits. If it's a year or two contract, have them submit weekly how they spend their money. And if there's any discrepancy in those audit or contracts, then we'll have to go to company B If they can't honor, be transparent as far as every dollar spent on any particular project, and then we'll give them one warning, but if it happens again, then we'll have to give the contract to a different company, because our dollars have to be spent correctly and wisely, and to make sure that, the citizens aren't taken advantage of.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. Mr. Morgan.
Accountability and transparency. Contractors should not be able to come back to the table after already breaking promises to the people of the city of New Orleans. Once you have failed Once you have failed to commit to what you have promised, you are no longer eligible for contracts from the city of New Orleans. And for as employees and agencies, we have to make sure that the people in charge are people who know the job and are ready to do the job, and are not just in position of power because they're who they're related to and who they have helped get in office. So again, I believe transparency and accountability is the answer, is the solution to that problem.
Thank you. Mr. Bell?
Before coming to the city council for more money, we have to find out where the money been for the last 10 years. If too much money been pumped into District E in the lower ninth ward where you don't see no kind of business coming. We have to go to St. Bernard Parish with business, taking all our money. So what I don't understand, why are we still looking like Katrina? Money been pumped into the area, but where do it go at? I don't see the new projects. Before asking the city for any money, I would get my auditor team to audit back 10 years and find out where every dime went and people be held accountable for. Before asking the city for any more money, we need to find out where the money at, because we sure don't see it.
Thank you, Mr. Bell. Mr. Roberts?
Been a Marine for 21 years. I'm big on accountability. When a system or developer fails the community, accountability should be number one. They should be held accountable for wasteful spending and wasteful time. I would establish a community advisory board. That way our community can be involved every step of the way. We can hold our developers accountable and make sure they stay on timelines. And I would also request a line item budget, so we know where the money's being spent and how it's being spent on a day-to-day basis, month-to-month basis, quarter-to-quarter basis. These are our taxpayers' money, and it should be accounted for, and it should be used wisely.
Thank you, Mr. Roberts. Mr. Hughes.
Well, thank you very much for that question. We have to take a multi-pronged approach. Number one, we have to, out the gate, overhaul the Department of Safety and Permits and code enforcement. We must ensure that we're properly investing in those agencies with the necessary accountability. Number two, we must ensure that we're treating the hardworking women and men in the Public Works Division like human beings. 20 years after Katrina, they are still working out of mold-filled FEMA trailers. That is disgraceful in a city with a $1.8 billion budget. Next thing we have to do, it is ludicrous to allow a contractor to go dig up 10 blocks at a time and take 2 years to complete the work. You dig up one block, you complete that block, and then you go dig up another block. And when it comes to our small businesses, they serve an important function. We have to ensure they're paid on time.
Okay, let's move into our first rapid fire question. If elected, would you commit to a public first 100 days roadmap identifying required ordinances, budget needs, and implementation timelines for your stated policies? This is a yes or no answer. Mr. Roberts.
Yes.
Mr. Richard.
Yes.
Ms. Nguyen.
Yes.
Mr. Morgan.
Yes.
Mr. Hughes.
Yes.
Mr. Jones.
Yes.
Mr. Bell.
Yes.
Will you commit to regular town halls or listening sessions? Yes or no? Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Morgan?
Yes.
Mr. Richard?
Sure. Yes.
Mr. Hughes?
I already do that, yes.
Mr. Roberts?
Yes.
Mr. Bell?
Yes.
Ms. Nguyen?
Yes.
Thank you.
Will you commit to quarterly town halls in District E? Yes or no? Mr. Bell?
Yes.
Mr. Jones,
Yes.
Mr. Hughes,
Yes.
Mr. Morgan,
Yes.
Ms. Nguyen,
Yes.
Mr. Richard,
Yes.
and Mr. Roberts.
Yes. Thank you. Next question. In 2024, the Sea Change Collective and Urban League of Louisiana defined a good job as full-time work with a livable wage, benefits, and savings potential for home ownership. Despite its land and infrastructure, District E has struggled to attract lasting investment and job creation. What industries will you prioritize bringing to District E to expand good jobs, and how will you retain existing businesses? Mr. Hughes?
Thank you very much for that question. Number one, how do we retain existing businesses? Again, safety and permits plays a key function in that. Number two, we need to change the image of our beautiful community in New Orleans East and the Lower Ninth Ward. Now, one of the things that I commit to doing, and I've already talked to many current members of the City Council, the Plaza site in New Orleans East is one of the most prime pieces of real estate that exists. And because that has been tied up with no clear title, we have had missed opportunities. You probably saw the headline a few days ago where the city of Slidell announced a $40 million Amazon center. Certainly the Plaza site would have been prime for that. The city council member has to wear multiple hats. I will get out of City Hall, go out and recruit businesses. That's how we bring them to New Orleans East.
Thank you, Mr. Hughes. Mr. Bell?
First, what I would do is I would take half of my salary every month and put in a District E hardship fund. I would take my own money without using the taxpayer money, and I would go to the CEOs of these places and sell your product. I learned from the military, you got to go out and sell your product. I would go to these CEOs and I would get with the planning committee and I would make it work. I would take half of my salary and start a complete District E emergency fund. I hadn't seen one candidate say they would do that, because it's not about the money, it's about my community and about getting the community back on track. So that's what I would do. Money is no object. The community is a must. When I fight, I win. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bell. Mr. Morgan? Yes. In 2024, the Sea Change Collective and Urban League of Louisiana defined a good job as full-time work with a livable wage, benefits, and savings potential for homeownership. Despite its land and infrastructure, District E has struggled to attract lasting investment and job creation. What industries will you prioritize bringing to District E to expand good jobs, and how will you retain existing businesses?
First, I would host one of those town halls that we spoke about a few minutes ago to figure out what businesses our community wants in the neighborhood. I think for far too often, stuff is pushed upon us, and it may not always be stuff that we want in our community. So that's where I would start. I believe technology is the future, so I think we definitely have to prepare our citizens and our youth for those jobs that's taking over as we go forward, so that we can attract businesses, because we can't get the businesses in our neighborhood if we don't have the trained workforce to do those jobs. So I think it's definitely a multi-pronged solution to a problem that's been overlooked and underserved in our current administration.
Thank you, Mr. Morgan. Ms. Nguyen?
So District E, I don't know if you guys know, but the New Orleans Regional Business Park. So it's kind of isolated. Not a lot of people go over there, but it's prime for manufacturing and distributing company. I've been working with different groups to help redevelop that area. That area was labeled as the business park during Ernest Morial time. And so we definitely want to capitalize that area. But we can't forget about the former Six Flags site. So we selected Bayou Phoenix, and they are working on putting together a robust plan to make sure that there's job creation. And I was very fortunate to tour the facility about 4 days ago. And I'm excited about what they're going to bring, particularly around quality jobs for our citizens.
Thank you, Ms. Nguyen. Mr. Roberts?
Mr. Goodyear, thank you for the question. I would start by establishing an advisory community board composed of small business owners. And with those small business owners, we'll evaluate what we already have and what we need so we can grow. I would also work on our infrastructure and code enforcement. It's hard to bring new businesses into our community when people are dumping tires or our streets are in disrepair. So I would focus heavily on infrastructure and code enforcement. And third, I would invest in our youth. Economic development starts in the brain. If we can dream it, we can create it. We got to give our kids the opportunity to grow, develop, and have the chance to create their own businesses right here in our own home so they can stay here and thrive.
Thank you. Mr. Jones.
Well, since March of this year, 400,000 black women have lost their jobs nationwide. Locally, we can mitigate that by first starting with a nice shopping center. I think that would be great. And as the next councilman, I would fly to Denver, Colorado, and speak with Deion Sanders myself, have him come down and speak to the residents to invest. That will be step one. A good tech company will be great, especially with AI, if our kids are into mathematics. But logistically, we need a shopping center in New Orleans. It's not good traveling 30 minutes and 30 minutes back just to get shoes. Let's get a shopping center and start there, and the Lord's going to bless us.
Thank you. Mr. Richard.
Yes. The interim CEO of Kroger's announced, even though they were supposed to merge with Albertsons, that they were still planning to put out new grocery stores in spite of the failed merger. And I call his challenge out. I would say Lower Ninth Ward, we need those grocery stores there, especially off St. Claude and Fats Domino Avenue. That's one thing. I'm going to be an advocate. So I would advocate for these businesses to come. And I would also advocate for our small business owners, our business owners here in New Orleans East and even in Lower Ninth Ward, because they are the backbone of the community. And I would support creating this area, especially on Lake Forest, as a cultural district to help bring more monies into that area. Also, again, code enforcement of these, I don't say blighted properties, but these economic vacancies that we have, because there's potential.
Thank you, candidates. We'll move on to the next question. Name one unpopular but necessary policy decision you would support to benefit District E's sustainability and growth long term. Ms. Nguyen. Name one unpopular but necessary policy decision you would support to benefit District E's sustainability and growth long term?
Very good question. So, we talk about incentive for economic development, and when we talk about incentive, we're talking about your property taxes, their property taxes, in reference to how do we leverage that to get them to come into District E. I know in the past that many people don't like when we bring business into our community and we're giving them a tax break on their property taxes. And that is something that I really believe for District E, that we need to put together a very robust incentive economic development package to really address businesses to come into our district and provide those quality jobs so our family could get access to those job opportunities, and then that way our community to beautify. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Nguyen. Mr. Bell.
First, I will ask Job 1 to come in Sanchez and also in Joe Brown, because it's a necessary. A lot of kids do not finish school. By me being a retired Army personnel, I bring the bad boys when they drop out of school to Camp Beauregard. But most of all, I would demand that City Hall, that all chemical plants along the river follow all the regulations of the state law and EPA. Annual report to the parish president, to the mayor of New Orleans, and to Jefferson Parish. You got to have the coalition. Right now, the drain, I would demand that the study be done before the drain even try to put that on the train tracks. That dust will cause respiratory. It could cause cancer.
Thank you, Mr. Bell.
Thank you.
Mr. Roberts.
For clarity, Ms. Gordier, can you repeat that question for me? Ms. Grubbs, I apologize.
Name one unpopular but necessary policy decision you would support to benefit District E's sustainability and growth long term.
I will focus on code enforcement. The reason I say code enforcement, a lot of times code enforcement is used to weaponize against our everyday citizens. Our everyday citizens who have been struggling to rebuild homes since Katrina. My family's one of those families. You receive letters in the mail saying you're missing an address when someone could just put an address on the door. but the code enforcements are not being pushed up to absent property owners. Absent property owners that have let houses and land be blighted and sit for decades, lowering the property values inside our community. So I will hold those absentee property owners accountable and transfer that land to a community trust or land trust so that way it benefits the community.
Thank you, Mr. Roberts. Mr. Jones?
Well, one unpopular but necessary policy that I would implement is find a way to squeeze in a reparations package in the government. The city of Decatur, right outside Atlanta, has already started talking about reparation packages for their citizens. Well, if I get a chance to serve, I will study that model and implement that in a New Orleans fashion, and also see what the residents think, because that will be a tedious process to see who gets what. For long-term sustainability for District E, we need to give reparations and figure out what we're going to do with the land that we have already.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. Mr. Richard?
Yes. Well, I certainly won't say entergy, but I think what I would do is, of course, and to echo, I would believe in code enforcement as well. This has been something that I've looked at, especially as part of my platform, which is economic development and infrastructure. I think when we have, and it's not just blighted homes that, I've seen a few blighted homes in District E that have been here since Katrina. However, to see some buildings, for instance, especially not only on Lake Forest Plaza, but also off the I-Service Road with some of the buildings that have been there that have been abandoned at other places, and vacant lots that have to be fixed up. I believe that is actually going to be my priority, even though it may be unpopular, but nuisance codes.
Thank you, Mr. Richard. Mr. Hughes? Sorry.
Thank you very much for that question. Unpopular but necessary. Out the gate, I will lead the effort alongside our new mayor and my council colleagues to expropriate the plaza site. For 20 years, that site has sat vacant. On any given day, it's a truck stop. On Saturdays, you can come by and buy barbecue because people are out there barbecuing. You might find a pop-up festival on any given day, but then you see blight. The property is saddled in bankruptcy, mortgage default, liens, and fines. The city must put some skin in the game, acquire that property. The law is on our side. Slidell just did it by acquiring a former mall site. New Orleans must do it too. People will yell and scream, but the clock has run out. It's a new day, it's a new way under my leadership, and things in District E will be done differently.
Thank you, Mr. Hughes. Mr. Morgan?
Unpopular but necessary. I think the argument can be made that all the policies that have come out of City Hall lately have been unnecessary and unpopular. And I think the fact to prove that is that as the city of New Orleans gear up to celebrate the 28-year anniversary of Hurricane Katrina, as I travel on my daily commute from the lower Ninth Ward to New Orleans East off of Bullard, that I still see remnants of Katrina, that many of the streets I pass down still look like Katrina just hit. So I think that is the evidence that shows us that most of the policies that have come out of City Hall are unnecessary and unpopular, and none has done anything to make our way of life better, as none has done anything to bring any type of development to our neighborhood. I feel like the last real progress we made was prior to 2010, and that has got to change.
Thank you, Mr. Morgan.
Thank you, candidates. The next 3 questions will be rapid-fire questions. Do you believe that the city's economic development strategy must include closing the wealth gap that exists between white residents and their Black, Hispanic, Latino, and Asian neighbors? Yes or no? Ms. Nguyen?
Yes.
Mr. Bell?
Yes.
Mr. Roberts?
Yes.
Mr. Hughes?
Yes.
Mr. Richard?
Yes.
Mr. Morgan?
Yes.
And Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Districts with majority Black and Latino populations often see the least investment in commercial corridors. Will you work to ensure economic development resources are equitably distributed and targeted toward underserved areas? Yes or no? Mr. Morgan?
Yes.
Mr. Hughes?
Yes.
Mr. Richard?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Roberts?
Yes.
Mr. Bell?
Yes.
Ms. Nguyen?
Yes.
Will you ensure land use, redevelopment, and city investment decisions do not continue to displace Black and brown residents, but instead power them to stay and build equity? Yes or no? Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Morgan?
Yes.
Mr. Richard?
Yes.
Mr. Hughes?
Yes.
Mr. Roberts?
Yes.
Mr. Bell?
Yes.
Ms. Nguyen?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, we're moving on to quality of life questions. Residents regularly express frustration with street conditions, garbage collection, and utilities. How will you use your regulatory and budgeting powers to improve basic public services in District E within your first year in office? Ms. Nguyen.
So first thing I'm going to do is to make sure that I do an assessment of our district. I did it in 2018 when I ran. I had a view eye of our district, knowing all of the quality of life issues and making myself accessible to you. So that way, when their issues are in your neighborhood, we are working directly at it. I want to make sure that we tackle the city budget. So when we get back in, budget season is not until October, November, but I'm going to make sure that we work closely with our quality of life departments, addressing all of our quality issues in our community. But one of the first things is that I'm going to be proactive. I'm not going to wait for a phone call. I'm going to make sure that I have our list of all the laundry and the issues that matter to you.
Thank you, Ms. Nguyen. Mr. Richard.
Well, what I would do, especially if I'm elected, is have an oversight committee, especially to see what are the problems that are facing the area. I actually know the problems, but at the same time, I'd like to hear from my public and my people, especially what the problems are that they're there. And so having an oversight committee of people made up from these neighborhoods about garbage collection, about their roads or any infrastructure problems, I would be happy to listen to. One of the problems that we have too is that lights on our streets, especially at night near the interstate, are not working properly. People can't see when they're driving. Our elderly people have issues driving, especially when it's dark. That's a problem. That's something I would like to fix. And we do that by oversight, and oversight leads to transparency.
Thank you, Mr. Richard. Mr. Bell.
The first day in office, I will pass Amendment City Bill 103 to reduce the sanitation for all seniors 62 and above by $10 and bring the 2 days back pickup. 1 day is not enough because you got more garbage than what the garbage can hold. Bring the 2 days back and reduce that sanitation for seniors. I'm one of them got mine reduced because I'm a senior. I know you could get it done, but the city needs to pass an ordinance 62 and above, get that $10 reduction, bring the 2 days back. Also, find out what allergy coming from the north on our house in the lower 9. And find out what kind of chemicals coming from St. Bernard. We're gonna put a committee to do the study of life on what's coming allergy on our houses, on our cars.
Thank you, Mr. Bell.
Thank you.
Mr. Roberts.
Thank you for the question. I'm gonna start with the Community Oversight Committee. District E is a very large district. With that Community Oversight Committee, we'll discuss issues that need to be repaired and make sure that it's happening. I would also solicit help from our council members at large. Their job is not just at City Hall, they're responsible for all the districts. Along with that, I would expand services for 311, making it more transparent so our community can see when things are being repaired, how quickly they're being repaired, and if they're not being repaired at all. Third, I would expand mobile office hours and continue to hold quarterly town hall meetings so the community can have direct access to me. Thank you.
Mr. Jones.
Well, as a 10-year Uber driver, I can tell you about the conditions of our roads, especially Morrison and Lake Forest. I would definitely have constant supervision, oversight, starting with the streets first, because if we damage our vehicles, it's like, who's gonna fix it? So every week I will be constantly supervising, making sure that they do their job. That is a huge quality of life issue, especially when we don't have the funds to have extra maintenance on our vehicles. So in addition to education, the streets will be my first priority, and to make sure that if Metairie has smooth streets, then New Orleans should have smooth streets as well.
Thank you, Mr. Hughes.
Well, thank you very much, Ms. Scruggs. You know, this city is going to have a bold and honest conversation with our residents. And one thing that we're going to have to realize is that the city of New Orleans is never going to reach its full potential until every council district is strong. And we're going to have to accept the fact that not every council district has had the level of investment as others. For example, Audubon has had investment, Lakeview has had investment. The Super Bowl was just anchored in districts B and C. They received multi-million dollars of capital improvements in the downtown and French Quarter corridor. Our residents live here, we pay taxes here. Do we not deserve the same level of investment? Right now, the capital budget is equally divided amongst all 5 council districts. That is unacceptable because the Lower 9 and New Orleans East have been disinvested in and have not received their fair share.
Thank you, Mr. Hughes. Mr. Morgan.
We have to hold the remainder of our elected officials accountable. It is unacceptable that the trash collection problem in the French quarters was headlined on the news for days. Meanwhile, we're fighting just to get one pickup in our neighborhood. That has to change, and that change with not just holding whoever represents District E accountable, that starts with holding the mayor accountable and our city councils at large. So when I'm in office and elected, I'll make sure I fight with everyone at the table to make sure District E is getting what it's needs, and that's the only way we'll ever be able to address the quality of life issues that we face daily here in District E.
Thank you. Next question. District E continues to face high levels of blight and vacant properties, especially in the Lower Ninth Ward and parts of New Orleans East. What specific tools or ordinances will you use to reduce abandoned and blighted properties? And how would you ensure those properties are redeveloped affordably without displacing current residents? Mr. Hughes.
Thank you very much for that question. As I have stated multiple times and will continue to state, commercial blight is at the center of my platform. And so utilizing our capital budget and every tool at our disposal to eliminate commercial blight, not only in New Orleans East, but the Lower Ninth Ward, number one, is going to be crucial. Number two, in terms of homes that are blighted, we have to increase our partnership with NOLA. And now that 2% of our city's budget is going to the Housing Trust Fund, we have to ensure that District E receives its fair share of the Housing Trust Fund. So we have to work to ensure that blighted houses are put back into commerce. I will work closely with my colleagues and also seek a seat on the Budget Committee to bring that over the finish line.
Thank you. Mr. Bell.
First, we have to get the list on what the city owns and what people that left their property the way it is and got all kinds of liens on it. When you get the list what the city owns and what people own that didn't come back, then you get money to the community. Get a contract to the guys who got lawnmowers, okay? And get them the stipends to pay to cut the grass. But if the city is not cutting their portion what they own, what Katrina did, donated a lot of land to the city, and the city give the land away to some people, we got to hold the city for that. If they're not cutting it, we cut it and we charge the city from cutting the lots they own. Because most of the lot, if you get a list, it's not just people own, city owns some of those lots too. They were donated from Katrina.
Mr. Richard.
Yes, and I'll be brief with this. As I've talked about nuisance enforcement and codes before, I would make sure, when I'm elected, that I would put any monies, especially fines or sanctions that are put on, we say blight, but I would say those economic vacancies, because I see the bigger picture. We use that money especially to go back into the community to help get some more businesses as well as economic development in the lower places like the Lower Ninth Ward and New Orleans East. It's time.
Thank you. Mr. Jones.
Well, I would definitely look at a list to see who qualifies and not, and I'll also increase the budget to implement more programs for vacant lots. For residents that want to get an extra vacant lot, they can do that. And also to make sure that each lot is not just sitting there for years and years, but we have to make sure that it's being put to good use, it's taken care of, so that we won't have to have the same issue decade after decade. So that's what I would do. I would increase the budget, implement more programs, more incentives to mitigate that, especially for our kids in the future.
Thank you. Mr. Morgan. District E continues to face high levels of blight and vacant properties, especially in the Lower Ninth Ward, in parts of New Orleans East. What specific tools and ordinances would you use to reduce abandoned and blighted properties, and how would you ensure those properties are redeveloped affordably without displacing current residents?
When it comes to blighted property in the lower 9, anyone who drives across the Darton Bridge, you can see the remnants of Hurricane Katrina. I believe this is our opportunity to invest in housing and get people into first-time homebuyer programs. We have a lot of land, and we're not doing much with it. We have to change that, and we have to give court enforcement more teeth when it comes to finding and removing these blighted properties out of our communities. So definitely working with code enforcement so that we can figure out a plan and a strategy so where we go after these properties, and also using that same method into increasing home ownership and getting more people into homes.
Thank you. Mr. Roberts.
I would start by minimizing red tape. There's too many regulations that are keeping our residents from rebuilding and repairing their homes. In addition to that, I would expand upon our land trust program. I would put property back in our community. There's developers that have been sitting on land that has not been used. That land needs to be put back inside our community so our community can thrive. I will work on inclusionary zoning, and what that looks like is anytime we bring in a new developer, they're going to be responsible for building affordable homes in the backyard of that development so we have places where our families can live and stay. Additional to that, I would also champion funds towards nonprofit and local developers to help rebuild homes and properties that we already have inside the East and the Lower 9. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Nguyen.
Currently in District E, we have over 500 vacant lots and abandoned property, 143 in the Lower 9. And so when I was in office in 2018 to 2021, we hear from the community in reference to outside people coming in and buying our land and buying our properties. And so what I did was I created an initiative called the lot next door. So if you live next door to a lot that has been adjudicated by the city and you show that you're taking care of the lot, you could actually acquire it. I've been over campaigning in the Lower 9, and 15 people have came to me and said that program worked. And so my plan is to put more property into the lot next door, but also creating new initiatives to address the blighted property and vacant lots.
Thank you, Ms. Nguyen. The next question is a rapid-fire question. Will you commit to supporting stricter enforcement on illegal dumping? Yes or no? Ms. Nguyen?
Yes.
Mr. Bell?
Yes.
Mr. Roberts?
Yes.
Mr. Hughes?
Yes.
Mr. Richard?
Yes.
Mr. Morgan?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Now we'll move on to climate resilience and environment. Flooding remains a persistent threat to much of New Orleans. What's your concrete plan to improve drainage and stormwater infrastructure, and how will you work with the Sewage and Water Board and other city agencies to prioritize climate resilience, green infrastructure, and environmental justice in District E? Let's start with Mr. Bell.
As the past president of St. Kofa, the wetland, that's where a lot of the water is sucking in from the industrial canal, from the Lower Ninth Ward. Also, is a flooding condition around the Jackson barriers that need to be completely looked at, because if you're riding going to St. Bernard, your car could go under. They need better drainage system. But listen, the neighbors, if you know your drainer right there, it don't take you but a little few times just to get it clean. But the city also needs to put the trucks back where they suck in those drainers and clean them out. But then we need to report the drainers that don't have covers. Kids could fall in there waiting for the school bus. I went through the Lower 9 3 years ago and asked them to replace them.
Thank you, Mr. Bell. Ms. Nguyen?
So yes, so the East and the Lower 9 do suffer from flooding when it rains regularly. And so my commitment is to make sure that we work with Sewage and Water Board to addressing our catch basin, working with many of the green companies that are building swell ponds, catch basin, the rain barrel, because as citizens, we can also help store those waters so that it doesn't go into our drainage at the same time. I'm very committed to make sure that our budget reflects improvement to our district. When I get a call about issues in our community, it feels like it's in my neighborhood. If I don't want that in my neighborhood, I would not want anyone, you guys, to have to live like that. So that's how I'm going to work for you.
Thank you, Ms. Nguyen. Mr. Hughes.
Well, thank you very much. You know, as we build and revitalize, we have to ensure that we're building stronger, smarter, and more resilient. If you go out in the parking lot of Franklin Avenue, for example, and if you have a torrential rain downpour, you will notice that the parking lot will not become flooded. That's because they use permeable concrete in order when they laid that in the parking lot. We have to ensure that we're using those type of materials in New Orleans East. Number two, I will work with Sewage and Water Board as they're making the case for a stormwater management fee, but we have to ensure that everyone is putting some skin in the game, not just homeowners. Everyone has to put some skin in the game. For example, the president of Tulane in that beautiful home in Audubon Place currently paying 0 property taxes because it's a nonprofit entity. Unacceptable.
Thank you, Mr. Hughes. Mr. Jones.
Well, the sea level is going to continue to rise 3/4 of an inch for the next few years. By the year 2050, a huge part of Louisiana is going to be underwater. So, as councilman, I would study, Japan has a great idea of how to mitigate that. Even the Mississippi River has been changing her characteristics lately, not giving enough sediment to have buffers. But I would study Japan's idea on getting some mega structures, because flooding is getting worse and worse and worse. So we're going to have to kind of find a way to build up and think about our kids' futures.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. Mr. Roberts.
Thank you for the question. I would start by holding Sewage and Water Board accountable. And the reason I say that is because the district that I live in, or the blocks that I live in, are flood zone X, which requires me not to have flood insurance. I pay out of pocket flood insurance anyways because of the drainage. I never know if the water's gonna go up or not. So I would start by holding Sewage and Water Board accountable and making sure they're putting the right funds back into our community so our community can thrive. 2, I'll work on environmental friendly initiatives that would help reduce rain capture, or capture rain to reduce flooding. That's planting more trees, creating more catch basins, retention pools that can ultimately help flooding.
Thank you, Mr. Roberts. Mr. Morgan.
We have to address the issues at Sewage and Water Board. That's a given. I think we all understand that. I also believe we need to start listening to the experts when we come to redeveloping our communities. In addition to that, the Army Corps of Engineers is proposing an over $4 billion project to relocate the lock in the industrial canal. I feel that money can do way more good going to the city of New Orleans to address the flood issues, address the drainage problems, assist Sewage and Water Board, and help rebuild our communities. We don't need a $4 billion lock that they remove 4 blocks down so that wider ships can come through. That's not going to benefit me nor you. That's going to benefit Louisiana as a whole. But we can't help Louisiana if New Orleans isn't here.
Thank you, Mr. Morgan. Mr. Richard.
Yes, I would just say, first off, I think that Sewage and Water Board needs a complete overhaul. I think there needs to be changes that are there, because I find it that even before a flood happens and then our pumps, before a flood happens, before a rain even starts and our pumps are not working, especially like they had out here a month ago, I found that unacceptable. And I'm happy to work with them, but there has to be changes. I also support changes in infrastructure and so forth, and other technology that might help reduce flooding or help prevent flooding. I think those are things that we can do. There has to be an entire overhaul of our system, not just from our entities, but even sometimes from ourselves with these things, but especially our government and our entities who we pay a lot of money to and trust. There has to be changes.
Thank you, candidates. We're going to go into a quick rapid fire question. Would you support requiring all new large developments to meet green building or solar readiness standards? Yes or no? Mr. Bell.
Yes.
Ms. Nguyen.
Yes.
Mr. Hughes.
Yes.
Mr. Jones.
Yes.
Mr. Roberts.
Yes.
Mr. Morgan.
Yes.
Mr. Richard.
Yes.
The next few questions are on business, entrepreneurship, and workforce development. District E is home to a majority black population, a significant Vietnamese American community, and working class families. However, access to capital, contracts, and city resources remains inequitable for business owners in these communities. What specific measures would you put in place to level the playing field for entrepreneurs of color and women? Mr. Morgan?
I think that's simple. We begin working in City Hall, making sure that we put a cap, a number on the percentage of contracts going to people in our community. There's no way that we should be trying to rebuild our community with people from outside of our community. We have a number of qualified, educated members right here in District E that can get the job done. They just need the opportunity to do so. And when on City Council, I'll ensure that a percentage of all contracts coming out of City Hall are going to people that live in our neighborhood.
Thank you, Mr. Jones.
Well, when I think entrepreneurs, I think about our students who are going to be business owners in the future. Specifically, I would have City Hall support a great program in the East, specifically a shopping center. That way, our kids can learn the business that way. And to develop the East economically for the next 20 years, we have to get our children involved. So have some kind of program in the city to where they can have an incentive to open a business in a certain plot in a shopping center or whatever, and then kind of mentor them as they go with their business. It could be a clothing store, it could be a shoe store, or it could be a nice hair salon, but help them with an entrepreneurial business.
Thank you. Ms. Nguyen?
So while in office, I led the fight and passed legislation to ensure minority-owned businesses had real opportunities in contracting, pushing legislation and holding city departments accountable through the procurement process. I remain committed to continuing that fight so that minority-owned business receive their fair share of opportunity. I do plan to launch the District E think tank. It is an initiative that I created to spark potential new business in District E, and I will be bringing in private lenders, because we can't depend on City Hall for everything. We gotta bring in our private partners that are sensitive to Black and brown community around economic development.
Thank you. Mr. Hughes?
Thank you very much for that question. Let me go back to phase 3 of this jail for a minute. The city of New Orleans has invested over $25 million to build phase 3 of the jail. Imagine, again, I'm going to go back to that $1.8 billion budget that should reflect priorities. Imagine if we took 1/4 of that over $25 million to build a jail and invest in startup costs for entrepreneurs and small business to provide them technical assistance. Again, our budgets should reflect priorities. Secondly, we're going to have some very honest and tough conversations in this city, because Black people in this city don't even get the opportunity to apply for high-paying jobs. Gilbert Montano just landed a position of Chief of Staff at Audubon. How many residents of District E had the opportunity to even apply?
Thank you, Mr. Hughes. Mr. Richard?
Yes. So let's look at this. 3 types of contracts that are awarded by the City Council. You talk about construction contracts, professional service contracts, and vendor contracts. Here in this area, we have a predominantly Black community. Of course, we have Vietnamese community, we have white community in Venetian Isles, but New Orleans East also is 67% of the landmass in New Orleans and a 47% tax base. We have to have our children and our people involved. I would support programs that would be developed in this area that would allow those, especially who work in trade, work in construction, get a part of those contracts. That's how I would support having Black businesses, Black entrepreneurs in this area. It needs to be done.
Thank you, Mr. Roberts.
I would start with establishing a City Hall annex in the East and minimizing red tape. A lot of residents got to go all the way down to City Hall, sometimes require hard copy paperwork just to get into the established process of starting a business. So minimizing that red tape and making it easier for our community to make a business or start a business. I would also invest in our youth. Again, economic development starts in the brain. We have to give our youth and kids the opportunity to grow and learn and create businesses of their own. What that looks like to me, establishing a partnership with small business owners where they can have internships for after-school jobs and summer jobs, where the small businesses will receive an incentive for hiring high school kids that need to learn how to get into the workforce. I would also partnership with, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Roberts. Mr. Bell.
As a certified EOC, equal opportunity person, certified through the National Guard, nobody discriminate. I will work through Delgado College, Sydney College, and NUNE College. The bus line already I got started 4 years ago. You don't have to be a politician to get stuff started. You just have to have a voice. So I got that bus line that started from Fat Domino, past St. Maurice Villa, past the hospital, and go to NUNE College. That is a coalition connection. You got to get connected. So I would make sure nobody be discriminated. I would start a committee that they have to come through and nobody be discriminated. You can't do it. Thank you.
Thank you. Do you support a citywide language access policy mandating multilingual forms, plain language instructions, and live or virtual interpretation options? Yes or no? Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Morgan?
Yes.
Mr. Richard?
Yes.
Mr. Hughes?
Yes.
Mr. Roberts?
Yes.
Mr. Bell?
Yes.
Ms. Nguyen?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, now let's talk about generational wealth. Land loss, predatory lending, and heir property issues have historically impacted communities of color in New Orleans. What policies would you support to help families retain and pass down property and expand financial literacy and wealth preservation tools in District E? Starting with Mr. Bell, and I ask all candidates to please respect the time limitation.
First of all, half our housing is going bad because it's time for renewal. So we have to find money in the city to help the homeowners get your house back lined up because it's falling down from Katrina. Homeowner helped you, but your house is falling down again. So we have to seek some type of program to help homeowners get back on their feet, like a grant, okay? So once you get that, and get everybody's houses back, because after 20 years, you're looking around, it's falling down. The city has failed us. They stole money from us. It's time we go back and get what's right belongs to us as citizens in District E. I will fight for you to the end, and I will win.
Thank you, Mr. Bell. Ms. Nguyen.
So while in office, I learned that many of the property didn't have proper ownership because the owner has passed away, and family did not have the resources to go through succession. And because of that, it was challenging to basically dispose the property. And so what I did was I created an initiative, brought in a pro bono law firm, and partnered with the Civil Clerk of Court to assist those families to address the lack of succession planning, helping them to, particularly the low 9, to protect their family values. I believe that no one should lose their property just because they're in a poverty community. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Nguyen. Mr. Hughes.
Thank you very much. We're going to have to continue to be innovative in our solutions. Number one, I was very proud to support legislation brought forth by my seatmate, Representative Matthew Willard, that would have doubled the homestead exemption. We must continue to push that. I think that would be a great tool. We must also look at, freezing taxes for low-income residents. Right now, seniors have an age freeze if they qualify, but also working-class residents. We also need to be innovative there. We're going to have to bring some fairness to our tax system because as millages continue to be rolled forward, we have far too many homes owned by nonprofit entities. I think an institution like Tulane University with an over $1 billion endowment can afford for their president to pay some property taxes.
Thank you, Mr. Hughes. Mr. Jones.
We'll have a citywide program educating our kids on the importance of a healthy credit score, teach them how to avoid credit cards and high interest rates, and also things of the like, so that they too can have the skills to spend wisely, because this generation, as you probably noticed, is a little impulsive with spending. So help them to appreciate the value of saving, be cautious of loan sharks and things like that. And as far as long term, whoever wins, we all got to work together. But I think the R word would be a good word to start off with. Reparations.
Mr. Roberts.
Thank you for the question. I will partner with NOLA and the Public School Board to establish a financial literacy task force to teach our elders and our youth the importance of capital and money. Money is a tool to be used wisely. And I'll say for the record, I'm actually not a fan of the capitalist system, but we live inside of it. So teaching financial literacy, I think, is step one. And then also we need to look at our insurance companies. We're talking about houses, mortgage and property tax. The hardest part for families right now is insurance. They're struggling to pay their rent, they're struggling to pay their mortgage, but the insurance is sometimes just as high. So how do we work with state and federal to get our insurance rates down and bring in competitors into our area? Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Morgan?
I think when we think of predatory practices in lending, we need to look no further than Baton Rouge. Currently, Jeff Landry has just passed a sweeping package of new laws regarding our insurance, and if you like me, your homeowner insurance didn't go down. And that is double what I paid for my mortgage. That has got to change. In addition to that, unfortunately, I've been made aware of a number of citizens in the lower 9 who have recently in battle fighting for their property because the developer has come in and paid back taxes on homes that families have had for generations. And we talk about generational wealth. That was that family generational wealth. And these people have come in and taken advantage of families during their hardest time. And us as elected officials have to step up and assist those families.
Thank you, Mr. Morgan. Mr. Richard.
Yes, well, to echo that, I would support obviously giving grants for those that qualify, for those families that are having issues with regards to their property, especially dealing with the predatory lending. I also, and getting the clearing that title up, as an attorney and someone who has worked especially in economic development with organizations like the 100 Black Men, I also support programs for our children to teach financial literacy and also how to be entrepreneurs. But I also believe, especially, that we can do pro bono work. Some attorneys that I know who might, with programs that I would do, that could possibly look at these families as real estate, especially in the lower 9th Ward, to see exactly what problems that they may be having. I think that would be a great issue.
Next question. Are you committed to working with the Urban League of Louisiana and the Sea Change Collective to implement policies that close the wealth gap in New Orleans? Yes or no? Mr. Johns. I'm sorry, Mr. Jones. Johns, I'm sorry. Mr. Johns.
Yes.
Mr. Morgan.
Yes.
Mr. Richard.
Yes.
Mr. Hughes.
Yes.
Mr. Roberts.
Yes.
Mr. Bell.
Yes.
Ms. Nguyen.
Yes.
Will you commit to publishing monthly progress reports online? Yes or no? Mr. Bell?
Yes.
Ms. Nguyen?
Yes.
Mr. Hughes?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Roberts?
Yes.
Mr. Morgan?
Yes.
Mr. Richard?
Yes.
Housing. District E has some of the most affordable land in the city, yet many families are cost burdened, paying more than 30% of their income for housing. While new developments often target higher income residents or market rate tenants, how will you ensure that new housing development in District E meets the needs of low and moderate income residents rather than primarily catering to higher income newcomers? Ms. Nguyen?
So I believe in a safe, stable, and affordable housing is the foundation for healthy families and thriving communities. That's why I will continue to prioritize funding in the city budget that addresses housing needs while balancing other essential services. I am committed to tackling the air property challenges that prevent families from securing their home, like I did when I was in office, pushing for solutions for rising insurance costs and protecting residents from displacement. At the same time, I support preserving quality, affordable housing and advancing policy that will give individuals the opportunity to thrive and transition into a more productive lifestyle. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Bell?
First, we need to bring back the class that you go through for 15 days or 3 weeks, first homeowner buyer. You need to bring that back. The first homeowner buyer program helped a lot of people get into their homes with low interest rate, low down payment. We need to also help the veteran, I'm a veteran, to get in these homes with the FHA, VA low home interest loan, because they don't even realize they could get a home more cheaper with the interest rate than anybody. But we have to get the program set up where it helps everybody. As a veteran and as help veteran with their claims, I will make sure every spouse that lost a veteran get in the program that's going to help them get in their home and help the ones in their home. Thank you.
Mr. Richard.
Yes, well, certainly I support fair housing. I also support quality of life. I think everyone here does. I would especially, of course, if we see more housing projects or anything that did come into this area, I would make sure a couple of things. Number one, that these buildings, especially these landlords who have this, that these don't become slums or so forth. They need to actually make sure that they're maintained and kept up properly. We also want to have, when we talk about quality of life, we also want to have places and restaurants in place for our people to go, that they have activities and not just we put housing projects here and there, and then there's nowhere for our people to go. That can't happen. So we got to change the way we think, the way we develop things, and I believe that I can do that.
Thank you. Mr. Morgan.
I think first of all, we have to make sure that our citizens that are currently living in New Orleans East and the Lower Nine are not living in slum-like situations. I think that the state, as well as New Orleans, have to aggressively apply for grants from HUD, FEMA, and State Housing. I apologize. We have to apply aggressively to try and work on community partnerships. I think we have a lot of great organizations here in District E in New Orleans that's doing great work. I think the City of New Orleans have to partner with those organizations to make sure they're getting the funding they need to expand the work that they're already doing in our community.
Thank you. Mr. Roberts.
Thank you for this question. Something I've been talking about earlier is inclusionary zoning. Making sure that our new developers coming into District E, the East and the Lower Nine, are bringing in affordable homes for new residents. We have to have more affordable homes built inside our district. 2, reinvesting in programs that help current homeowners repair and reinforce their property. We're a city that's holding back the Mississippi. We got to make sure that we're properly investing in homes that have been here for centuries. And 3, proposed legislation to minimize rate hikes for people that are renting. Rent rate hikes are going up faster than grocery prices. So passing legislation to stop that.
Thank you. Mr. Hughes?
Thank you very much. Many of our residents, our homeowners in the Lower Ninth Ward and New Orleans East are indeed cost burden, and insurance is playing a key role in that. One thing that we know for a fact is that if homeowners have the opportunity to fortify their roofs, it will definitely bring the cost of insurance down. I want to leverage the Housing Trust Fund. You're going to continue to hear me reference that because other council districts are actively talking about it. We need to ensure District E gets its fair share. We also need to ensure that we're leveraging the Housing Trust Fund to bring multifamily properties up to code. Now let us have a blunt conversation for a second. This notion of build more housing in New Orleans East and the services will come is ludicrous. We have more population than the entire parish of St. Bernard. They're bustling with commercial activity. We're not. Where are the people going to go to shop?
Thank you, Mr. Hughes. Mr. Jones.
Well, I will implement a program for young people. The moment they turn 18, they can enroll in a program and tell them, hey, if you stay in New Orleans for the next 3 years and you qualify, we'll help you to qualify to buy this piece of land. And that way, you know, if they want to learn carpentry, framing, and how to lay the foundation, electrical, they can do that themselves and help their other friends build homes as well. We have good apartments and new developments, which is good. And I would talk to those owners about lowering rent prices, because it's at the end of the day, you got to choose between, you know, buying food and paying for gas. So that's the way I would do this for our young people with the new program.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. Will you ensure housing remains a top priority in the city's budget? Yes or no? Mr. Bell?
Yes.
Ms. Nguyen?
Yes.
Mr. Hughes?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Roberts?
Yes.
Mr. Morgan,
Yes.
Mr. Richard.
Yes.
Would you be willing to give landlords of all sizes a tax credit if they agree to rent at a rate that is affordable to middle to low income renters? Yes or no? Ms. Nguyen?
Yes.
Mr. Bell?
Yes.
Mr. Roberts?
Yes.
Mr. Hughes?
Yes.
Mr. Richard?
Yes.
Mr. Morgan?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Would you be willing to make low-income housing that is built or renovated with the use of city funds, like tax credits, permanent instead of allowing it to expire? Yes or no? Mr. Richard?
Presumptive, yes.
Mr. Morgan?
Yes.
Mr. Roberts?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Hughes?
If they kept up the code, yes.
Ms. Nguyen?
Yes.
Mr. Bell?
Yes.
Shifting to public safety and policing. Data shows that the statistics tracking crime, particularly violent crimes, are improving. However, the narrative about crime in New Orleans remains the same. What is your position on increasing funding for NOPD versus investing in non-police public safety strategies, such as mental health crisis teams or community violent intervention? Let's start with Mr. Bell.
On the mental side, we need hospitals built for the mental ill. And for us, the police, and no offense to the police, we need more protection patrolling. I ride my area at night to see what's going on. That's the only way you find out. But I tell the police, I said, when you pass by my house, blow. I ain't heard a blow yet. So we need to maintain the 7th and 5th district with the captain, but at least please patrol our area and please blow when you pass my house so I know you're out there. Because I ride sometime 11, 12 o'clock at night to check my community. That's the only way you know what's going on.
Thank you, Mr. Bell. Ms. Nguyen.
So while in office, I supported and funded the Crisis Intervention Task Force to support individuals who are suffering from mental illness to get service, not to be thrown in jail, because people with mental illness should not be thrown in jail and be forgotten. I also believe that we need to invest more into prevention programs. We have a lot of community organizations that are boots on the ground, that are working with many of our young people, many of our neighborhood, to make sure that crime stays low. And I definitely want to credit and thank the NOPD and our law enforcement agency on keeping our communities safe. But I also want to look at the academy on how we can recruit more individuals to join NOPD, so in that way we can have that manpower.
Thank you, Ms. Nguyen. Mr. Hughes?
Thank you very much for that question. Let me just reiterate, as I said earlier, District E does not have a crime problem, it has an image problem. The media most certainly does not help us, and people who do not live in District E often have a lot to say and quite frankly don't know what they're talking about. I really want to commend and thank the hardworking women of NOPD, and I certainly support continuing to invest in raising their pay. The 7th district that's currently in my house district has done a yeoman's job, and the 5th district and all of our officers work really, really hard. But I want to see us invest more heavily in mental and behavioral health and really invest more heavily in NORD. And we have to get innovative with respect to NORD. Our summer jobs program, we have to ensure that when we're hiring our youth that we actually pay them on time.
Thank you, Mr. Hughes. Mr. Jones?
Well, I would definitely support a mentorship program starting at the age of 7 for our kids, regardless if they have a father in the home or not. Have someone assigned to them, sponsored by the city, so that they can raise them from 7 years old till they get to high school, because that is a critical age for raising young kids, young men and young women. So that's one thing I would do. And also that will help them to, by the time they get to high school, they will be mentally capable of making decisions, have more self-control, and even get the local churches to have, good, solid, strong men to help out with these sponsored programs and pay them for their sponsorship as well.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. Mr. Roberts?
I would definitely start by investing in mental health. That's putting qualified social workers in our schools for our youth, social work availability inside of NORD, and proper training for social worker task force out on the streets. NOPD has a specific job, and sometimes the job of a banana is not to hammer a nail. NOPD is being overworked, and I also believe they might be a little underpaid. So funding social worker programs so we can properly address mental health issues, and also strengthen regulations when it comes to social media, because I think that is a heavy impact that has pushed towards mental health and mental stability.
Thank you, Mr. Roberts. Mr. Richard?
Yes, well, certainly I support mental health programs that should be done. I don't think it's appropriate where someone who is severely mentally ill is spending 2 or 3 days in jail, locked up, and they have schizophrenia or so forth. And unfortunately in New Orleans, we don't have a psychiatric ward or hospital anymore. That was once charity. So I definitely support having those programs. And I can tell you, because I've witnessed it as a defense attorney in St. Tammany Parish, where I've had those cases like that. Now, I would also say we need community policing. We have to have cops that work a beat who actually get to know our individuals and persons anymore. And I know that enrollment, especially among police officers, is down. So we have to change the image, especially officers have to change, and we have to change. There has to be a complete overhaul.
Thank you. Mr. Morgan?
I want to commend the hard work of the NOPD, the ladies and gentlemen on the force. I believe they work hard to keep us safe on a daily basis. However, the support and where we will see the real change is when we invest in community programs. Speaking as someone who once was a director at Orleans Parish Juvenile Court, I know for a fact that community programs work. They give results, and you will see change if we invest in it. Again, our tax dollars need to reflect the change we want to see in our community. So if we sponsor those programs, give them the support they need, because they are the ones on the ground doing the hard work in our communities on a daily basis.
Many residents have voiced deep concerns about the adoption of facial recognition technology, citing its potential to violate citizens' right to privacy and its documented misuse in communities of color. Beyond simply stating whether you support or oppose its use, what concrete steps would you take to ensure strong accountability, transparency, and protection of residents' rights if this technology were implemented? Mr. Jones.
Well, in this age of AI, I would definitely have that regulated, because you can steal someone's face or voice and commit fraud. So I would definitely educate our kids on the dangers of AI and facial recognition. You probably heard the term catfished. Many people have been using AI programs to mislead people, things like that, or asking them to, pay a medical bill or get me out of jail or something like that. So the facial thing, identity can be stolen. So I will regulate the AI recognition so that people can have their privacy protected.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. Ms. Nguyen?
So we know that facial recognition has caused many people in our community to be falsely accused and serve time. We hear those stories all the time, and that should not take place. I know AI is trending and is new, while public safety in our neighborhood is a priority for me. I definitely want to make sure that we have those deep dialogue and conversation in reference to that when or if we use AI, how do we protect citizens? Because again, your safety means a lot to me, but we got to make sure that we're using the tools correctly and that there's community input and oversight, check and balance, and that we're not putting anyone away just because they were identified falsely.
Thank you, Ms. Nguyen. Mr. Hughes.
Thank you very much for that question. To set the record straight and to be clear, at this time, I do not support the expansion of facial recognition. What we must do is continue to stay the course, implementing the strategies that former Chief Michelle Woodfork implemented, and now that Chief Kirkpatrick continues to implement. And she continuously gives Chief Woodfork the credit for implementing those strategies. Our law enforcement partners, Troop NOLA and others, have a coordinated violent crime strategy. One murder is too many, one rape is too many, any violent crime is too much, but I think we must stay the course and continue to invest in proven crime-fighting strategies. Facial recognition expansion should not be on the table.
Mr. Richard.
Yes, well, I would just say I'm a constitutionalist. I, as an attorney, I'm not 100% sold on the facial recognition and the issues that it can concur. With limited information, especially on how that expansion would be, I would just say presumptively, if it were to be expanded, that it would be highly regulated. There would be oversight on those things, on the technology and so forth. That would be one way that I would have to handle that. But again, to keep our community safe, we need community policing. We need officers walking the beat and getting to know our neighbors and our children.
Thank you. Mr. Bell.
With the technology, I don't support it at all because people change image and it causes problems and you could violate somebody's rights, civil rights. So no, I do not support it. If anything comes across my desk, I would veto it like crazy because it's going to violate somebody's civil rights. You know, because you got so many, they'll change your image on Facebook. You look like somebody else. So no, I don't support that at all. No.
Thank you, Mr. Morgan.
I think it's safe to say that community safety is important to all of us, but this is not the way to do that. Again, I believe investing in services and programs that has been proven to work. Community service programs in our community, working with people on a face-to-face basis, work. The data shows it. The data also shows us that whenever these technologies have been used, it has been disproportionately targeted against minorities. We cannot allow services such as these to enter our neighborhoods and our communities because once they're in, it is no getting them out.
Thank you. And Mr. Roberts.
I strongly oppose the use of facial recognition in AI for community policing. Before, if it ever becomes a thing, heavy oversight and heavy audit authority. It got to be transparent. We have to know how the code is being ran, what it's being trained on, how long is data being stored, where is it being stored. All this should be transparent to the community. Your face is a biomarker of yourself. That's a level of privacy, and it should be kept for you. So I strongly oppose it, and oversight and transparency is key going forward.
Thank you so much.
For our final coalition question, District E has a growing youth population, but limited access to after-school programs, job training, or safe community spaces. The most recent example of this was last week's announcement that the Hangout NOLA, a premier hangout, game room, and event space for teens, was closing its doors. What's your specific strategy to invest in young people and prevent crime through opportunity, not just enforcement? Let's start with Mr. Morgan.
I'm kind of glad I did get to go first on this question. As someone who has worked with youth in the city of New Orleans since 2012, both at Orleans Parish Juvenile Court, both in the school system and for the state of Louisiana, I can tell you one of the main issues is that everyone speaks about youth initiatives and speaking up for our youth, but not many people bring our youth to the table when discussing what they want to move forward and what they want to see for their future. And that's what we have to change. I also believe that we have to invest in our youth. So often we hear everyone say that we're going to do this for youth, we're going to do this for NOR, we're going to do this for this program, and none of these things come to fruition. We have to change that, and we have to make our priorities look like our spending. And until that happens, our youth will continue to fail.
Thank you, Mr. Morgan. Mr. Richard.
Yes, well, that is a shame to hear about the hangout. I know the owners personally, very nice people. I would state that, number one, I support programs, especially programs for our youth. After-school programs are great that we have at our schools, universities as well. But I also think I would sponsor and do things with the the city council. Of course, I worked with 100 Black Men organizations like that work with the youth in development. Also, entrepreneurs like Malik Honore, who talks about fixing credit scores. I would certainly work with kids with that, and also to let them know and figure out what trade and what schools, what trade and what occupations they want to do in the future. Of course, that's part of my campaign, a new blood, new voice for a new generation. Let's move it forward.
Thank you, Mr. Richard. Ms. Nguyen.
So for 15 years, I've ran after school and summer programs, so I understand that these programs are critical to our working families. And so my commitment is to make sure that organizations that are serving our young people get access to grant opportunity that's available through the City Council. I plan to have an open meeting to be very transparent and accountable, and to support groups that are directly serving our community in District E. I also believe that we need to bring all of our groups together collaboratively. Many times, the left hand does one thing and the right hand doesn't know what's doing. And so I believe that if we could all come together, share resources, ideas, and then that way we can be more impactful to our young people. We got to bring Job One and NORD to the table too, because they are responsible in making sure that our young people stay off the street.
Thank you, Ms. Nguyen. Mr. Jones.
Well, during COVID, our kids lost 2 good years of education. That whole virtual thing, they tried, but it didn't work. And now we see the effects of that. 54% of Americans can barely read above a 6th grade level, which is horrible. I'm also in support of tutoring programs, but if I was councilman, I would clock off and tutor these kids myself. I'm very strong in English and mathematics, so if there's an overload in the system and the teachers can't do it, then I would change uniform and tutor these kids myself.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. Mr. Hughes.
Thank you very much for that question. I do want to begin by giving a great big shout out to Ray Bender and his wife, Dr. Bender, for all of the heart and soul that they poured into the Hangout NOLA. The fact that they had their final dance on Saturday is definitely disappointing, but the good news is their heart is still in this community. The city of New Orleans, just like we put resources on the table to court Super Bowls, we need to put resources on the table to invest in our people. Churches and nonprofits, for example, are closest to our residents, and there was a time in this city where we intentionally partnered with churches and nonprofit entities. We need to get back to that again, back to the basics. District E has a growing immigrant population that is contributing to our economy, and we have to ensure that they are not left behind as well.
Thank you, Mr. Hughes. Mr. Roberts.
Thank you for that question. So I'm big on doing things in community. I believe politics is about doing things with people and not to people. So I would start by establishing a youth community advisory board. We got to bring our young folks to the table. They have stake in the game. They're going to be in the game a lot longer than we are. So they should have a word on how funds are being used and things that they want inside the community. 2, I think it's a perfect time to look at our school system. It's time to flip the financial input of our charter school system. The money's being held at the top. It should be reinvested into our kids, reinvested into our teachers. Teachers should not have to come out of pocket to fund STEM programs or in-school programs, ultimately invested in our youth. And then partnering with NORD and other youth development programs.
Mr. Bell.
First, you got to put the nursery back for the home, for the women that have to work. They cut the program on paying for that nursery. You need to go to Baton Rouge and say that they need more money to support the program that pays some of that money for your nursery. Because now it's struggling for the mother to try to make the difference of the money that the state cut. We need people to go to the state and say, women have to work. They're single parents. You need to increase that money for child care. Also, I will bring back scholarship for the 6th grade, 9th grade, and 12th grade come out my pocket of the money the city will pay me. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, now it's time for our audience Q&A. Throughout the evening, audience members have submitted questions in writing. While there were a number of questions submitted, our co-chairs have randomly selected questions that will be read to the candidates. The remaining questions will be submitted to the candidates following the debate. we encourage each of you to follow up with the candidates and their teams about issues not covered this evening. Each candidate will have 45 seconds to respond to each question. Questions will be read by debate co-chairs Shawan Bernard of the Lower Ninth Ward Voting Coalition and Sam Pope of the NAACP's New Orleans chapter. Please welcome them to the stage.
Thank you all. And in respecting your time, we're going to ask one question each of the candidates. So my question is, and I'm Shawan Bernard with the Lower Ninth Ward Voters Coalition. What are your plans, candidates, to work with the presidents of the subdivisions and the homeowners associations in advancing their stated goals and agenda? And the moderators will give us the order.
Let's start with Mr. Hughes.
Thank you very much. During my 6 years as the state representative for District 100, I've been proud to build strong working relationships with all of the neighborhood presidents in my district. I will do the same working with the neighborhood presidents in the Lower Ninth Ward. The fact of the matter is, as we move forward, the Lower Ninth Ward and New Orleans East both face common challenges, and we have to speak with one unified voice, particularly with respect to infrastructure, more grocery stores in our community, blight reduction, and economic investment. Both the Lower Ninth Ward and New Orleans East are facing the same challenges with respect to those four areas. The canal shouldn't divide us, but our unified voice will help things move forward.
Thank you, Mr. Hughes. Mr. Jones.
Well, from day one, I will definitely show them data as to how bad the economy is. People having trouble finding homes and mortgages. And we don't want our kids to become a renting culture. I mean, that is good short term, but work with them and find a realistic goal as far as how our young kids can get in position to get long-term housing. As I mentioned before, if they decide to stay in New Orleans for 3 years, have a program so where they can stay in New Orleans for the next 25 years. And that'll be great for the next generation.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. Mr. Richard.
Sure. Well, thank you for that. That was a good question. Of course, I would just do oversight and communication. We have to have transparency with our homeowners association. I will work with them. It's just communicating with them about what their issues are. And of course, that would also mean, as part of the subcommittees you've heard me talk about, having at least maybe one member from those homeowners associations to come to a meeting, to talk with them about what are the issues that the neighborhoods need.
Thank you. Ms. Nguyen.
So while in office, I worked and attended the majority of all homeowners meetings in the East and in the Low Nine. But in addition to that, working with homeowners association, I also created avenues where you as resident can tell me what your issues are. You can catch me through text message. Everybody pretty much has my phone number. Text me your issues. A conversation at Walmart. And I was very accessible. And that's one of the reasons why, under my leadership, we were able to demolish 139 blighted properties, held over 1,000 code enforcement hearings, 242 abandoned properties. For that, I want to thank you for working with us.
Thank you, Ms. Nguyen. Mr. Morgan.
I think we're going to go back to those town halls we spoke of on earlier this evening. I believe those town halls will be invaluable to learning the particular issues from each neighborhood. I do think New Orleans East and the Lower 9 District E as a whole is a vast area. So the issues that may face one neighborhood may not be particularly the most important to another. So I think those town halls, meeting with the people where they are to figure out what each neighborhood needs and how do we help them move forward.
Thank you, Mr. Roberts.
Community responsibility. I would definitely bring the homeowner associations to the table. And I would use mechanisms like participatory budgeting. We have money to be spent, and it should be spent wisely, but our community should have a say in how that money is being spent. Some of the people that have some of the thickest skin in the game is our homeowners. So bringing those homeowner associations to the table to talk about issues that we have going on inside the community. How do we best revitalize our communities and use our money wisely?
Thank you. And Mr. Bell.
most of the time I go to the meeting because I'm in the L9. And the L9 Homeowner Association is looking out for you and you to build affordable homes, to check commodity of insurance. So I go to the workshop. Anybody that call me in my area, I don't never stop. When they call for town hall meeting, I'm coming. When they call for volunteer, I'm there. That's part of me. I'm a community servant. So when they call, that's how you find when you go to the town hall's meeting. But when the L9 Voter Coalition or the L9 Homeowner Association put their email, unless I have a American Legion do it, I'm going to that meeting to find out how can I help my community. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bell. We'll have our next audience question.
What specific steps will you take to ensure the Vietnamese and Spanish-speaking residents are informed, heard, and meaningfully involved in local decision-making?
Thank you for that question. Mr. Roberts?
Thank you for the question. I didn't get time to write anything down. I would start by expanding our NOLA Ready system. NOLA Ready should definitely be a highly bilingual system to be able to reach all residents, and all residents should be able to understand it. I'll start there. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Richard?
Yes. Again, part of that, when I say subcommittees, that's another thing. I would make members of those communities, the Vietnamese and Spanish communities attend, have a representative attend our meetings. Also, I would like to do, and this is just in general for everyone, probably a Facebook Live every month or so for all the community to see, for everyone out in District East. So that's one element, one thing I would do to create transparency and communication with these communities.
Thank you. Ms. Nguyen?
So I definitely appreciate this question, and as a Vietnamese speaking person and living in the community for almost 50 years, we need to make sure that we're very inclusive. And so it's just not Vietnamese, but we do have Spanish speaking individuals. But then we also want to make sure that we are including our vulnerable population. So language is one thing, but how do people get to meetings? How do you make sure like our senior citizen, when they don't have the means to get to a town hall meeting and to be accessible? When I was in office, I was visiting our senior citizen every 3 months to make sure that they're engaged, updating them on what's going on, because they also are very viable in our community as well. And I commit in doing that again.
Thank you. Mr. Jones?
Well, as a Spanish speaker for the last 30 years, I think that I would excel in this particular area. I would create an organization for Spanish-speaking people, first of all, to help them to be proficient in English, because you have to learn that. Even if you want to go into truck driving, you have to know English. And also help, single mothers get programs and put them in a position so that they can get a good work, a good job at City Hall or whatever, and to, help their kids as well, the next generation. So as a Spanish-speaking person, I think that would be great for me.
Thank you. Mr. Morgan?
I encounter on a daily basis a number of Spanish and Latino in my current profession. And I would take the same practices that I display daily with them as making sure that they feel seen, heard, and included. That's making sure that any documentation we send out is in bio language. It's making sure that any communication we send is in languages that everyone can read. I will take the same practices that I work daily, making sure that every child that comes into my care is felt seen, heard, and understanding, and they can thrive in the community as well.
Thank you. Mr. Bell?
I will build a website in English and Spanish to give you all the resources that you need to go to when you need help. Also, as a city council person, it's your duty to make sure transportation for the seniors to get to those town halls meet. Most times they want to come, no transportation. I pick up people if I got to make 2 rounds. But we need a transportation at Sanchez and Joe Brown to pick up these seniors when you have a town halls meeting, so they don't have some of them even got no family member. They need your help. And as a city council, stop worrying about the parking, worry about the community. Get them to the town hall meeting. You'll find they got a lot of stuff to give to you, and get
Thank you,
those
Mr. Bell.
resources.
Thank you, Mr. Bell. Mr. Hughes?
Thank you very much for that question. In addition to already committing to monthly progress reports and regular town hall meetings, I will lean on my highly qualified District E staff to get out in the community, meet the people where they are, bring the information to the people, bring back problems, but also follow through and ensure that they receive solutions. Anyone who wants to work in the District E office when I'm the council member, they will have a fair opportunity to apply and be considered. One thing that I really want to overhaul is the neighborhood participation program, which has very little teeth in it right now. If someone wants to come and build something in your community, it's really a check the box activity. They can hold a meeting at 10 a.m. when most people are at work or sleep, and the requirement has been satisfied. I think we have to be more intentional in improving that process.
Thank you, Mr. Hughes.
Thank you, candidates, and thank you to our debate co-chairs and to yourselves for your submission of questions.
We'll now move to closing statements. Each candidate will have 1 minute to summarize their vision and make a final appeal to voters. We will go in descending alphabetical order. Mr. Roberts, please begin your closing statement.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for your patience, your time, and your commitment for being here tonight. Again, my name is Jonathan Anthony Roberts, number 57 on the ballot. Our campaign is rooted in service, not status. We believe in a community that when we all work together, we can build a stronger and thriving community. Far too long has our community been stuck in survival mode, struggling to pay bills, struggling to repair houses, struggling to get across a bustling city just to buy groceries and or make it to work. That should not be the case for residents living in the lower 9 or the east. We should have a community access directly in our backyard. So building a more connected community, building a stronger community that we all can thrive together. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Richard.
Yes. Thank you for everyone for this opportunity. Again, thank you all for coming out. If you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, and you want change, vote for me, number 56, Gavin Richard, a new voice for a new blood for a new generation. It's time we change things. Lower Ninth Ward, if you're tired, Venetian Isle, Chef Mentor Pass, Lake Bullet, all of these places where you have seen lack of development here in this area for the last 20 years and even past that time, because even before the flood, there were businesses closing and it's leaving this area. We want to bring it back, and I'm the person to do it. Ladies and gentlemen, electgavin.org is my website, number 56. Thank you all.
Thank you. Ms. Nguyen.
Good evening, and thank you so much for your engagement this evening. Again, my name is Cindy Nguyen. I am a candidate for the New Orleans City Council District E. I'm running on morals, integrity, dedication, and transparency. What I am is a dedicated public servant who has and will continue to work tirelessly for the constituent in District E. I will remain focused so that your vote and vision manifest into reality. We still have unfinished business. I have experience and receipts which show that I led with integrity. You know what you would get from me as your city council member: honesty, accountability, accessibility, and hard work that has moved the needle for District E when I was in office. Let's get back to actually doing the work together. Stand together with me, and let's win this together. I humbly ask for your vote. My ballot number is 55.
Mr. Morgan.
New Orleans, District E, you have trusted me with your most valuable possession, our youth. You have trusted me to advocate for them in the courtroom. You have trusted me to educate them in the classroom. You have trusted me to be an advocate for our most vulnerable. You have trusted me to reach out in our community and work with our most marginalized. District E, I'm asking you to trust me once again and elect me as your next city council member. My name is Willie Morgan. I'm number 54 on the ballot. It has been an honor and a pleasure to be here tonight with you guys. I hope that I have answered your questions thoroughly, and you will leave here engaged and informed and ready to make a decision on October 11th. Early voting begins on September 27th. Again, thank you. I appreciate this opportunity. I look forward to meeting you all in the lobby and at any other future forums that we may attend. God bless.
Mr. Jones.
Well, in the words of Deion Sanders, if you look good, you feel good. If you feel good, you perform good. New Orleans East has not looked good in a very long time. So step number one will be for us to get a nice, beautiful shopping center, keep that tax revenue for the Lower Ninth and New Orleans East, implement programs for our kids, and that will be a great starting point to beautify New Orleans East. Once we get that, we can invite other businesses, attract other businesses, and continue the economic growth. So my name is Nathaniel Jones, ballot 52. I'm a local sub-teacher. I love working with kids, and I made it a personal promise to be a warrior for our kids in the school system. So the future is bright for them, but we have to have the right leadership.
Mr. Hughes.
Thank you once again to our co-moderators, to all of the coalition partners for hosting this debate tonight. And let me thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for hanging in there for the past couple hours. I know it's late. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to ask yourself one simple question. Is District E any better off today than it was 15 years ago? I know we are approaching the 20th anniversary of Hurricane Katrina. I don't use a 20-year barometer. I use 15 because the 5 years post-Katrina was really a fight for funding and to ensure District E was not turned into green space. And former council member Cynthia Willett-Lewis, we owe her a debt of gratitude for fighting that fight on our behalf. Ladies and gentlemen, Lakeview was devastated by Hurricane Katrina, but it's thriving. Ferret Street is thriving. Too many parts of our city is thriving, but District E is stuck in time. So the question we must ask ourselves, are we ready to pass the torch to a new generation of bold, proven leadership, or do we want to maintain the status quo? I'm running because enough is enough, and I am that proven leader. I'm Jason Hughes. Thank you.
Mr. Bell, please conclude our closing statements.
I'm the last one, right?
Yes.
Okay, you saved the best for last. Election is tomorrow, right? No, I'm just kidding.
1 minute, please.
I'm number 47 on the ballot, and I'm a community servant. You might leave me as a politician. Community service, because community come first if you're ready for a change. My number is 47, my daughter making 47. October 11, my sister's birthday. So I got a lot of celebration to do. Let me tell you, if you select me as your next District East City Council person, no one will be left behind. I will fight for you from not just City Hall, I'm going to Baton Rouge and fight for you in Baton Rouge to get everything that they stole from you. You know they say the devil stole from you? They stole from you. I need to get it back for you. And I will fight for you day and night to get everything where District E was stole from, and we will be on the map again with stores, schools, and everything we should have had.
Thank you, Mr. Bell.
Decades before.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, candidates. This concludes tonight's debate. If the audience, if you want to applause, you can applause now. Now, please welcome one of the masterminds behind this debate series, Urban League of Louisiana's Senior Director for Policy, Advocacy, and Legal Affairs, Charles Phipps, for closing remarks.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Urban League of Louisiana and our coalition of 20 community partners, we sincerely thank you. Please join me in having a sincere round of applause and thanks for our candidates and co-moderators. I'm going to be brief because I want to respect your time. At the Urban League of Louisiana, we believe in one thing that's absolutely true. The experts in our communities are you. Your desires, your lived experiences, right, are the things that are informing us. It's the reason that we are so proud to fight for you, to fight with you. And so as we think about who we are going to elect on October 11th, I want to leave you with this promise. The Urban League is always going to respect you enough to give you all of the information because we know that you know what's best for you. And so that's why it was so important that we didn't put our finger on the scales. If we were going to call this series By the People, you deserve to hear from every single candidate who raised their hand to say, I want to lead you. And I hope that tonight was fruitful for you. And I know that the future of New Orleans East, of District E, of the Lower 9, is absolutely going to thrive because you have passionate leaders and dedicated citizens like yourselves that are going to make sure that it happens. So thank you so much and have a good night.